My first guest tonight served as the 107th mayor of New York City from 1994 to 2001. He's a lawyer and former federal prosecutor. He served as U.S. Associate Attorney General and then U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. But fast forward to 2021, Rudy Giuliani has been targeted with political persecution by corrupt New York Democrats who somehow decided that the mayor shouldn't be able to practice law in the Empire State, maybe ever again. Joining us now from New York, Mayor Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor and my friend. Mayor, first of all, this is stunning what has happened to you after 52 years with a law license. Some of these highly partisan people in New York have decided to take your license and suspend it because you accurately represented your client. What's up with this?
It's very frightening, Mike. And I'm not the first of the Trump lawyers to be harassed like this and have their civil rights denied. In fact, it seems to me the only lawyers whose offices get raided are Trump lawyers. I was a lawyer for 52 years and a prosecutor for 17. I never raided a lawyer's office, even when they represented the mafia, Nazis, and terrorists. So there's a different rule. I mean, the things that I was saying that they're complaining about, I was pointing out evidence that I had from other people of fraud in the election. And I even offered my affidavits to the court. I said, I'll make any affidavits you want available. And they ignored that, and just concluded that I was lying.
You are representing a client. An attorney has not only a right, but an obligation to represent his or her client in the most effective way possible, and to represent what the client wants represented, which is exactly what you were doing. If you can have your law license suspended for that, then there's not a citizen in the United States that can be confident that his or her attorney is going to be able to represent them without the intervention of partisan political weaponry. I don't know why the ACLU has not stepped in on your behalf. I mean, I think I do. But normally they would be all over this saying, you can't interfere with an attorney and his client. There's a privilege there.
I mean, I have great respect for the ACLU, even though I disagreed with them many, many times, because I agree with the principle that you've got to represent sometimes very, very controversial causes. Somebody has to do it, and if I get appointed, I'll do it. You know, now it seems as if you can represent controversial causes as long as it isn't Donald Trump, and then you're a traitor, you're whatever you are. But I mean, he is entitled to representation. I mean, he's a citizen of the United States, and he's entitled to vigorous representation. You have to give your client the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
You have to give your client. You have to see it in the light most favorable to your client. And now, if that offends the New York Times or the Bar Association, I mean, tough luck. It offends me sometimes when people represent terrorists who, have killed innocent people. But I understand it and I accept it. And I wouldn't want to do it, but if I was required to do it, I would.
I want to talk on a personal level. I don't think most people understand that when you're the target of these kind of attacks, and I want to remind our audience, these were 5 Democrats. This is not some bipartisan commission. These are people who have weaponized their positions, have specifically targeted you and uniquely targeted you. But you have to defend yourself, and it costs an enormous amount of money. My guess is, Mayor, you probably are, absolutely devastated financially by all that has been done to try to silence you. Am I right about that?
Yeah, you're right about it, and that's part of it. It isn't just this, it's all of the frivolous lawsuits that have been brought, all of which have to be answered. It's the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York carrying on a 2.5-year investigation in search of a crime. It's having raided my house and having found nothing. The only incriminating thing in my house are the Hunter Biden hard drives, and they wouldn't take them. I mean, I offered them the incriminating evidence. Here, I got plenty of crimes for you. And the FBI said, no, we don't want that.
They didn't take the laptops,
it isn't
right?
just this.
I mean, that's stunning.
And it contains one crime after another, including child pornography.
So how can people help? Because I want to let our folks know that there are ways maybe to help with the legal expenses. And it could be them.
Yeah,
it isn't. Thank God it isn't them. But it could be. It's you. How can we help you?
We have a defense fund, and part of that is also so that we can have the resources to turn around and sue them. I mean, I have an awful lot of civil rights lawyers who believe that they have violated my civil rights, and several other people. And we're trying to put together a group that can sue them for what they're doing. They're taking away the right to counsel. They're taking away my free speech rights. I mean, when they say I can't say these things, I said these things also as a citizen. Yeah. It wasn't in court. I said them on a show like yours or some other show. And by the way, anybody can contradict me. They can just come on and contradict me. Yeah. That's what free speech is about. I get to say what I believe, and you get to say what you believe, and the public then figures it out. I'm not allowed to say that I believe there was fraud in the election. But I know there was. So what am I going to do? I know there was. I have sitting in my apartment over 300 affidavits of other people who tell me there was fraud in the investigation. So I would be lying if I said there wasn't. Other people have told me that. And it's their evidence that I would like to be heard. I'd like somebody to hear their evidence and then decide, was there or wasn't there fraud? And as a lawyer, I just think I have an obligation to do that no matter what they do to me.
That's how it's supposed to work. I'm also very glad that there are some very liberal Democrat lawyers and constitutional scholars like Jonathan Turley and others who are coming to your defense and saying what's happening to you is outright outrageous. And I couldn't agree more. Mayor, it's always good to see you. I appreciate your courage and your tenacity, and I hope our folks will help you.
Well, thank you, Mike. You know how much I admire you.
Well, it's a privilege. Now, I want our audience to know you can follow the mayor on Twitter at Rudy Giuliani, and also check out his Common Sense podcast. You can get that at rudygiulianics.com.